sports 24/7.
I am listening. Are you? What we do goes beyond bringing you the news. We give you a chance to talk about it. Your opinion, your voice.
This is 92.3 Nigeria in Port Harcourt.
Your number one news, talk, and sports radio station.
We give the facts.
News entirely.
We give the evidence. Just to keep you informed.
News, weather.
I get my information top of the hour every hour.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
When knowledge meets action, information liberates. How informed do you need to be to thrive in a fast-changing world?
Listen to experts only.
Keep it dial locked on 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk, and sports 24/7.
I am listening. Are you?
It's your right to know. Nigeria Info keeps you in the know.
We connect you to the world. We connect you to the vicinity. We are Nigeria Info.
Listen to me. I said this is a real situation and the government has to do something about it. You try to insinuate all these people looting Nigeria's money? You think
This is Nigeria Info in the heart of Nigeria. 92.3. We are Nigeria Info.
News, 6 a.m.
Your Excellency, I have been asked to summon you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That position has always been very clear. The forthcoming election is sensitive and decisive.
News, 12 noon.
Abandoned projects by the former administration, it's a problem. I have spoken with my people. We all agree that from today there shall be no authorization.
News, 6 p.m.
We don't sell assets to consume. If there is need for it, to sell assets, to invest, to create wealth.
Tune in to our major bulletins at 6 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m.
6 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m.
And our updates every hour on the hour on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
And now, the news updates on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good evening, welcome. On the news this evening, Governor Wike warns COVID lockdown could be reimposed in Rivers State. Court dismisses FIRS application on VAT collection. Sept defends numerous lawsuits against the federal government, and on the foreign scene, Israel launches massive manhunt as 6 Palestinian prisoners escape. I am Carl Orakwue with the news. Governor Wike says the state might reimpose the suspended COVID-19 lockdown if COVID-19 cases continue to rise in the state. In a live broadcast today, Governor Wike urged residents to get vaccinated and comply with all COVID-19 safety protocols.
I therefore appeal to all residents to help protect yourself, your loved ones, and the rest of the city by getting your vaccination at the designated health centers in the state. Although it remains our desire to keep the state open and allow citizens to go about their social, religious, and economic activities unimpeded, but may be constrained to reimpose suspended COVID-19 lockdown measures across the state if the transmission of the disease continues to increase beyond tolerable limits.
The governor's live broadcast was held at Government House to urge businesses in the state to pay their valued added tax VAT to the state government and not the FIRS. Governor Wike directed the Rivers State Internal Revenue Service, RIRS, to implement the court order which constitutionally empowers states to collect VAT.
And with today's judgment, the way is not clear for the administration and enforcement of the Rivers State Value Added Tax Law 2012 across the entire state until otherwise decided and set aside by the superior courts. Consequently, I hereby direct the Rivers State Revenue Service Board to ensure the full and total implementation and enforcement of this law against all corporate bodies, business entities, and individuals with immediate effect. All corporate bodies, business entities, and individuals are advised to willingly, truthfully, and promptly comply with their tax sanctions. Under this law, to avoid the full weight of the stipulated sanctions, including having their business premises sealed up.
He, however, warned the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, against interference.
Let me warn that the Rivers State government is fully in charge of the state and will not tolerate any further attempt by the FIRS to sabotage or undermine our authority to freely administer our tax and other related laws in our own state. Those who play with the fire risk having their fingers burnt. Enough of the shenanigans. I wish to further assure every resident that we shall, as usual, make effective use of the expected proceeds from this tax, accelerate the development of our state, and improve the well-being of everyone.
Governor Wike also spoke on the recent demolition of illegal shanties in the state.
We wish to reiterate that the ongoing demolition of shanties was born out of the compelling need to safeguard lives and property across the state. Our objective, which is gradually achieving, is to deny the criminals these sanctuaries and hideouts from which they embark on their criminal activities. We therefore refuse to be blackmailed by those unpatriotic elements who are trying to stir false ethnic, religious or tribal sentiments around our patriotic commitment to advance the safety and security of residents. We refuse to be intimidated by such baseless pranks. Rather, we will not rest until we clear the state of all shanties wherever they are located and restore sanity to our environment and achieve a better sense of comfort and security for everyone.
Meanwhile, the governor's live broadcast this afternoon came after Federal High Court in Port Harcourt today dismissed an application by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, seeking to stop the Rivers State government from collecting VAT in the state. As you may know, the FIRS had, in a motion on notice, asked the court to stay execution on its earlier judgment that declared that it is the constitutional right of state governments to collect VAT and not FIRS. But Justice Stephen Daylor-Pam, in his ruling today, said the granting application would negate the principle of equity. Lawyer to the Rivers State government, Mark Argo, spoke to newsmen after the court proceedings.
Today, the court had delivered its ruling dismissing the said application for stay, though without cost. In fact, the court's reasoning is that if it should grant stay, it's more or less like overruling itself. And since the court is empowered to recognize all law enacted by the National Assembly or the State House of Assembly, therefore, that law stands. It's a substantive law. Therefore, the issue of collection of VAT, as it were, as it stands today, the Rivers State government is still entitled to so collect.
The lead lawyer to the Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS, Ruben Wanoro, also spoke to newsmen.
We do not agree with the ruling, and we will take all necessary steps to challenge it. That is why the appellate system is there. The appellate system is there to enable us ventilate our grievance if, for any reason, a court makes a pronouncement and we do not agree with the pronouncement. So, for sure, we feel that the ruling should have gone in our favor, but the court has taken a position against us. So, we'll do the needful by taking it up immediately before the Court of Appeal. So, we'll challenge it.
In another development, as the Chief Justice of Nigeria meets Chief Judges of 6 states today, constitutional lawyer Richard Wokocha says compelling judges to comply with territorial jurisdiction in the trial of cases should form part of discussions of that meeting. Associate Professor Wokocha, who's a lecturer at the Rivers State University, spoke to correspondent Emeka Otuka on this.
I expect they should use that meeting to alert the chief judges that making those judgments that constitute a violation of the law. Because when they do a chief judgment without jurisdiction, he is himself violating the law. So I expect this meeting to be used to advise the chief judges to go and advise judges to bring their jurisdiction to work within the law and avoid making themselves instruments for violating the law, and to forewarn them that the NJC will take seriously any complaints that are brought against judges who engage in this conduct which they have been forewarned about.
Another lawyer, Choma Choko, says the NJC ought to reaffirm its disciplinary action against erring judges.
We expect at this material time that the members of the public, as a matter of fact, are beginning to lose interest, that confidence that they originally had in the judicial system. So I expect that today's meeting should serve as that which will prepare the people to also believe in the judicial system. Judicial arm of the government has the NJC that serves as that disciplinary organ of the judicial system. If there is any judge that is alleged to have committed a particular offense, the NJC at this material time should come into play with their full right, punish that particular judge in the deserving manner with respect to that particular offense, misconduct.
As you may know, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Tanko Mohammed, summoned the chief judges of the 6 states, including Rivers, over the recent wave of conflicting court orders. In the meantime, INEC says various court judgments and cases of litigation concerning elections in various states are making its job very difficult. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed this today at the Commission's quarterly meeting with political parties in Abuja.
I am aware that some of the cases are still in court and therefore sub judice. I must say that some of the decided cases are making our work difficult, and we have been crying out loud for a long time. In particular, some pre-election litigations relating to the nomination of candidates for elections were not determined until after the election.
On his part, Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Dr. Leonard Nzemwa, condemned cases of conflicting court judgments, describing it as an embarrassment to the entire nation.
The Council is also putting on record that we are deeply concerned with every other stakeholder's misgivings about the troubling issue of internal party democracy and how, instead of abating, we seem to have driven net deep into it to the point where the judiciary have not only become stand-in cheerleaders to all the anti-democratic shenanigans befitting the political parties in Nigeria, but our land friends, the lawyers, in their acts are inexorably driving the death nail to coffins of progress of political parties in the country.
Still to come on the news this evening, Sept defends numerous lawsuits against the federal government. To stay tuned.
Some glad morning when this life is o'er.
The National Secretariat of Grassroots Development Initiative, GDI Worldwide, wishes to invite all GDI members and the general public to a candlelight procession in honor of its former BOT member and former chairman of Asaritoru Local Government Area, late Honorable Chief Prince Will Odiari, JP, who died on Wednesday, May 27, 2020, after a brief illness. Date, Tuesday, September 7, 2021. Time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Venue, Holikins Event Center, Eastern Bypass, Port Harcourt. Signed, Honorable Engineer Samuel Wanosike, Chairman, Ikwere Local Government Area, and Chairman, Organizing Committee.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, Sept, has defended its numerous lawsuits against the government. Serap's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, tells correspondent Choma Ezenwafo that the several suits against the government usually follow several request letters ignored by government agencies.
Before any litigation or lawsuit, Sept would have written a letter, can either be by open letters or advisory to such public officers or institutions. A way of requests asking for specific things to be done. In some instances, there are freedom of information requests, which is backed by the Freedom of Information Act, the African Charter, and even Section 39 of the Constitution. It is after these fails that we resort to court. And we need to understand that going to court is a perfectly good thing to do.
Oluwadare, however, regretted the incessant disregard of court judgments by some government agencies.
And it's so sad that we would have agencies of government that would disregard judgments of courts. Knowing really well that the judiciary is another arm of government that operates within the principle of separation of powers. But when we see the executive just disobey those judgments, it undermines the judiciary, not only as an institution, but also to play its role within the rule of law. And one of those things that contributed to it is disregard for judgment of court. So we continue our focus as we're doing right now. Hopefully, government will see reason and obey the laws of the land that mandate government to obey judgment of court.
Ahead of the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies tomorrow, an environmentalist, Mina Ogbanga, is demanding clean air in the state. Mrs. Ogbanga tells our correspondent that enforcement of political will and sincerity of commitment will help in addressing issues affecting the environment in Rivers State.
How do we achieve and get back our garden city status, get back our clean status? That's when it comes to green energy or green environment as a state in Rivers State. It's something that is concern to many, and it's something that we are still hopeful that we can achieve. So our strategy is to see how we can use information, we can use education, we can do proper communication to promoting best practices in environmental protection and sustainability. You can imagine celebrating clean air. We know the basics. What is hard is about political will. It's about sincerity of commitment. So do away with those things that compromise our environment.
She further urged residents to desist from practices that compromise the sustainability of the environment in the state.
The man is sitting down, you're burning tires, doing those local things you do in your immediate environment that jeopardize or compromise our environment. You need to ask yourself, if you stop, another stop, a third person stop, so that at least you've contributed to 1% of increase in clean air for you and your fellow man. River citizens have children, they have daughters, they have sons. Some of them are involved in illegal bunkering, some of them are involved in compromising activities. You tell your children, come, how can we provide an alternative to this that you're doing? Because this thing is not only causing death to lots of youth, it's also compromising the environment.
This year's theme is Healthy Air, Healthy Planet, which emphasizes the correlation between human and planetary health in the context of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. In business, the African Insurance Organization held its annual conference in Lagos today. In her opening address, the chairperson of the local organizing committee, Ebele Chukwuwachuku, spoke on the theme of this year's conference.
The theme of this conference, which is Rebuilding Africa's Economy and Insurance Perspective, is therefore coming at a time where the coronavirus pandemic has severely impacted economic activities all over the globe. The theme paper will attempt to look at broader issues of how insurance can contribute to and benefit from the effects of rebuilding the Africa economy post-COVID-19.
Mrs. Wachuku also recognized the presence of President Muhammadu Buhari, commending him for making history as the first president to attend an insurance industry event. In entertainment, Nollywood actor Ibrahim Suleiman has revealed that a friend blocked him from getting a movie role. He took to Twitter to explain that the friend talked to a producer into not considering him for the role. Sporting news. Africa's football ruling body CAF has postponed the FIFA 2022 qualifying match between Guinea and Morocco following the coup d'etat in Guinea yesterday. A statement by CAF said the match will take place on a yet-to-be-announced date. The game was billed to take place today, however it has been moved due to security concerns in Conakry, where gunfire has been heard following the coup d'etat.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
Israeli authorities have launched a massive manhunt after 6 Palestinian prisoners escaped from one of the country's most secure jails overnight. The men are believed to have dug a tunnel from their cell over several months that led to a road outside Gilboa's prison walls. Officials were alerted by farmers who noticed them running through fields. The fugitives include the former leader of the militant group, Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, and 5 Islamic Jihad members. And that just about does it here on the news this evening. But before we go, here's a quick look at the earlier stories. We told you Governor Wike has warned that COVID lockdown could be reimposed in Rivers State if residents continue to flout COVID protocols. A court has dismissed the FIRS application on VAT collection in Rivers State. Sept has defended its numerous lawsuits against the federal government. And from the foreign scene you heard, Israel has launched a massive manhunt as 6 Palestinian prisoners escape. The news was edited by Choma Ezenwafo. For eyewitness news and breaking news stories, to contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this evening. I'm Carl Orakwue. Goodbye.